Hello, sports fans. This is Steven Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'll bring you a special NFL breakdown of the fantasy football. Football season is less than 50 days away, and we're about to get into it. I'm giving you the fantasy projections for the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL so you can win your fantasy league, and hopefully you can gain some bragging rights with your friends or at your job or wherever. So I'm going to start at number 10, make my way to number 1, and I'm going to give you the reasons why each quarterback is where they are, and we're going to break it down. Starting at number 10, Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford saw one of his best passing yard seasons of a long time last season. We saw Matthew Stafford with Calvin Johnson break Jerry Rice's records as far as yards and those kind of things, and it was a great season yards wise, but he took a step back very much in the long run because he didn't really have a lot of other offensive weapons. Adding Reggie Bush, getting Nate Burleson back to the fold will do a lot of better things for them. That offense is a very young offense and it has talent on it. Also, Matthew Stafford is one of the young guns with one of the bigger arms in the NFL. He's worked on his accuracy this offseason, so that's a plus. And he's doing whatever he can do to put the Lions on his back and make sure they make the playoffs this season. Plus, Calvin Johnson is motivated after last season, after not making the playoffs, to really put up big numbers and try to surpass his numbers from last season. So I look at that as a good sign. Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford are a 1-2 punch, a great combo at quarterback and wide receiver. So that's why Matthew Stafford is at number 10. Coming in at number 9, Eli Manning. Eli Manning and the Giants, of course, as we know, last season didn't make the playoffs, but they're coming back with a healthy team. Having Nix, having Victor Cruz, having a lot of those solid wideouts that they have only makes it better for Eli Manning. The loss of Bennett at tight end will hurt them slightly, but I think that Eli Manning will be able to bounce back, and I think that added with the defense, with the things that they've made on defense, they will have a lot more possessions on offense, which means that the Giants will have a lot more time to throw the ball. Also, adding that the Giants don't have a solid running back. I know they have Wilson, but he is not a running back that you want to count on. I think that the Giants will throw the ball more. Not having Ahmad Bradshaw will hurt, but it will give Eli about 5 to 6 more passes per game, because I think that Tom Coughlin will lean on Eli a little bit more in that veteran wide receiving crew to get the job done. Also, Hakeem Nicks is in a contract year, so he wants to put up the biggest potential numbers he can and get open and stay healthy as long as he can to get that major new contract. Coming in at number 8, Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, a lot of people talk about how he can't throw the ball and he can't do things inside the pocket. Also, no, Colin Kaepernick is a dual threat quarterback and a pretty good quarterback at that. With San Francisco having injuries to Michael Crabtree, he will be forced to get a lot of other receivers in the fold. Also, adding Anquan Boldin to the mix is a great thing for them because Anquan Boldin is a go-to receiver. He's a safety net. Also, having Vernon Davis and Frank Gore to free up some of that space on the field, because defenses cannot just focus on Colin Kaepernick. The San Francisco 49ers are a deadly weapon on offense. So you have potential 5 to 6 weapons on the field at any point in time with LaMichael James, Frank Gore, Vernon Davis, Josh Morgan. You have a lot of talent on that 49ers offense. So Colin Kaepernick will get a lot of points on the ground, because I think that when he doesn't have anything to go to in the field, he can just take off and run like a blur. One of the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL, and he will pick up a lot of yards for the San Francisco 49ers this year and score a lot of fantasy points in that process. Coming in at number 7, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson got a brand new toy in Percy Harvin this offseason. Percy Harvin will create a lot of disadvantages for certain defenses because of his speed. You cannot teach speed. And when Percy Harvin runs past that secondary, or he gets past that corner or that linebacker, you know the end result is going to be a touchdown. You know the end result is going to be a big yard. The key for this is, can Percy Harvin, Sidney Rice, and Tate all coexist in one unit? I think that they can. Having Marshawn Lynch to help with the play action and him being a beast on offense also helps Russell Wilson in his progression also, because the Seahawks are deadly also. A lot of people talk about just the 49ers in the NFC West being the best team. The Seahawks offensively have caught up along with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm looking for Russell Wilson to take a next great step. Last year, I don't think it was a fluke that he had the success he did. I think that Russell Wilson is a student of the game. He's a very bright, intelligent young man, and he will get the job done for the Seahawks. Coming in at number 6, Tom Brady. Tom Brady has fell on this list, and it's nothing to do with Tom Brady's personal skill set. the things around Tom Brady have gone awry. Losing Aaron Hernandez was the worst thing for Tom Brady that could have ever happened, because yes, Gronkowski was a solid threat. Aaron Hernandez was the straw that stirs the drink in New England. He was the guy that really created the better mismatches in the offense and against the defense. And plus, Gronkowski, with his injury problems, you can't really count on Gronk that much. Wes Welker was a big loss to Tom Brady, going over 100 catches a lot of these seasons back to back to back, being one of the best slot receivers in the game. Tom Brady, we've seen him time and time again go to no-name receivers, go to people, but he does have Danny Amendola. But that's about it at this point in time. Until Gronkowski comes back and really plays like he's used to playing, Tom Brady is going to be in serious trouble, because I don't think this current set of wide receivers on the New England Patriots will be able to get it done. So I think they'll use their running backs with a lot of slot plays, and they'll go to more tight end plays, just to balance out not having the biggest, best wide receiver or having a go-to tight end anymore at this moment until Gronk comes back. But I think that Tom Brady will struggle early on in the season, and as the season progresses, he will pick up once his weapons get healthy there in New England. Coming in at number 5, Cam Newton. Cam Newton is probably the best dual-threat quarterback in the NFL because of his size. Cam Newton doesn't have a lot of weapons to go to, but he does have Steve Smith. He does have Greg Olsen, two solid offensive weapons that show up each and every week for Cam Newton. That's about the only offense they have. Plus, Cam Newton, when he gets next to the goal line, you know Cam Newton's running that football in. We're going to see the Superman pose after the touchdown when he scores. He's been doing it his first couple of years in the NFL. And the Carolina Panthers, with their lack of run game because they cannot stay healthy, Cam Newton is going to score a lot of touchdowns when they get in that red zone area. Plus, he's added different dimensions to his game. Cam Newton has studied more. He's become more of a leader. So I'm expecting a more mature Cam Newton. I'm expecting him to do some great things for the Carolina Panthers next season. And plus, having Steve Smith going out, this is probably his last 2 seasons. He's going to want to do major things so he can better his chances of making the Hall of Fame. And for me, I think that Steve Smith has something big to prove. He wants to prove to people that he still is on top of his game. He still has that speed. He still can burn young cornerbacks. So I've heard Steve Smith talk about a lot this offseason about him being motivated to do better. So I'm looking for Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers to take full advantage of that. And I think that with their schedule not being as tough as it was the last 2 seasons, I think they have a chance to do some great things in Carolina. Coming in at number 4, Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. Having Tony Gonzalez back is a big key factor for this offense. Also, getting Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson is a beast. So now you have a bona fide runner who could close games out, but you can also play Russian roulette and go at a defense with no regard for anything they have. Having Julio Jones, Roddy White, and Tony Gonzalez, Steven Jackson, all these weapons you can use to your disposal. Matt Ryan is going to have probably his best offensive season since he's been in the NFL. I think that the game has come to Matt Ryan, and he's tired of failing. He's frustrated with all the things that he's done, and he will improve each and every week and put out a solid performance like he did and put up MVP type numbers going into this season. I'm telling you guys, Matt Ryan is a sleeper. He probably will be one of the best QBs by the end of this year, and you're going to be talking about how elite he is after he wins some big football games. And I'm circling the game against the Patriots because that is going to be a make or break game for Matt Ryan and his young career. Coming in at number 3, Drew Brees. Drew Brees, even with a bad team last season, threw for over 5,000 yards. We've seen him throw for 5,000 yards the last 2 seasons. He's put up MVP gaudy type numbers. He's carried the New Orleans Saints franchise to a Super Bowl in the past. He's carried them the last couple of seasons also. I'm looking at Drew Brees as being one of the solid quarterbacks. A lot of people talk about how he's short and how he can't see over the defense. 5,000 yards proves to me that you can see something. And Drew Brees, he's just, it's like he's a machine. He continues to do what he needs to do to carry that offense, even when their defense is terrible, even when the team's terrible. He carries the Saints franchise on his back, and I'm saluting Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees will be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL this season. I have no reason to doubt. You have Marquise Colston coming back, and if he's healthy, watch out. You have all these different slot receivers that Drew Brees gets involved, plus tight end play from Drew Brees. So the play action is very big for the New Orleans Saints, and it will be next season because you have Mark Ingram down there. You have a lot of integral pieces. Plus, I think this season, having Sean Payton back, their offensive creativity is going to just get even better. You know, because last year they didn't have him at all. Also, you have the Shetland Pony and Darren Sproles down there. With him being back in the fold with Sean Payton, the offense is limitless at this point. The sky's the limit for their offense, and they can do whatever they want in that Superdome. They're virtually unbeatable when they have Sean Payton down there in that dome. So I'm picking Drew Brees to be at number 3. Number 2, Peyton Manning. Adding Wes Welker to Peyton Manning and giving him Tom Brady's former best friend, former 100-yard catcher for the last 5-6 seasons, will create such a disadvantage for defenses. Having Demaryius Bebe Thomas, Wes Welker, Eric Decker, and then the tight end Tammy, you're creating a solid front four that can phantom any wide receiving core in the NFL. A lot of these defenses are going to have to pick their poison. Are you going to double Thomas? Are you going to double Tammy? Are you going to double Walker? Or are you going to double Decker? And once you do that, Peyton Manning is a talented quarterback. He has enough talent to decide, hey, I'm going to expose this corner. Hey, I'm going to expose this linebacker. Hey, I'm going to expose this safety. And Peyton Manning has the arm to get the job done. We've seen time after time, and you saw that year he had last season, and that was coming off of that neck surgery. I'm telling you, Peyton Manning will be the offensive MVP of the NFL season next year. I think that he will put up Indianapolis Colts type numbers, in like when he played inside of that dome back in Indy. So I'm telling you, Wes Welker will make a difference for the Broncos in fantasy points. Peyton Manning will have a lot of fantasy points because they will be playing ahead of a lot of teams. Wes Welker's little 5-yard dink and dunks, they turn into 60, 70-yard catches because you just can't tackle him on the first tackle. And I think the Broncos are going to have a lot of success because of that, and Peyton Manning will be a solid pickup as your first or second quarterback in fantasy. Coming in at number 1, Aaron Rodgers. It's nothing more I can say than what Aaron Rodgers has done. In the shadow of Brett Favre, he's won a Super Bowl. He continuously makes defenses look silly. With them getting rid of Greg Jennings and Donald Driver retiring, that's going to open up the gates for younger receivers. We're going to see Randall Cobb do a lot more. We're going to see a lot of this offense grow. And if Jermichael Finley can stay healthy like I think he will this season, it's going to be a solid impact and a positive impact. And Aaron Rodgers, as we all know, is a little sensitive, but he's being put into another hemisphere as far as quarterbacks go because his production, and look what he has to work with. Also, Jordy Nelson will be big for them this season. I think that not having Greg Jennings will push all those younger receivers in the spotlight also, and Aaron Rodgers is a student of the game. He will teach these young wide receivers how to play the game the proper way, and he will find them open. Also, Aaron Rodgers is a mobile quarterback. A lot of people don't realize Aaron Rodgers, he may not be the fastest in the NFL, but he can scoot when that pocket breaks down. We've seen him create plays time after time, even when the pocket breaks down or when he doesn't have the allotted time he needs. So that's my top 10 fantasy quarterback list for JustMyPicks.com. You can check me out on Twitter. Follow me there at YouTube at JustMyPicksTV. Also, check me out at JustMyPicks.com. Also, check out this archive and all my other videos on YouTube /JustMyPicksTV. Thank you very much for subscribing, and please comment, and good luck on your fantasy league.